1000 Lollipops, Chapter 7. Saturday morning had come round again, and the doorbell was ringing. "I'll get it," shouted Sam. As he ran to the door, for a dreadful moment he feared that last Saturday was about to replay itself, and that the man from Twizzo Treats would be standing on the doorstep grinning with another 1000 lollipops. But it was Hanif and his dad. Sam hurried upstairs to fetch the 5 lollipop boxes down, one at a time. He had carefully stuck Tufty toothbrush leaflets over the Twizzo labels on each box. Although Mum had already set off to school, he still needed to get the boxes past Dad. It was just as well Sam had disguised the boxes. As he was carrying the last one out, he collided with Dad and Laura in the hall. "What have you got in there?" asked Dad. "Present for me," yelled Laura. "Oh, it's just some old toys and stuff that I'm taking to the school fair for the toy stall," panted Sam. "Hanif's dad's given me a lift." "Toys?" squealed Laura. "Old cars," Sam said quickly. Laura didn't like cars. "Want a present?" pleaded Laura. "Slugs ate all my baby pigs. Poor pigs." "I'll buy you one at the fair," Sam promised, trying to edge out of the door with the last load of lollipops. "Hold on," said Dad. "Can you open up that box?" Sam's heart raced. "Why?" "Mum's rang from school to say she needs more leaflets," said Dad. "She says she's got a great big table in the school hall and not enough to fill it. Oh, and she wants you to take Tufty toothbrush along as well. Shall I pack those leaflets for you?" "No, it's all right, I'll get them." Sam lugged the box over to the cupboard where Mum kept her leaflets. He stuffed 3 fat handfuls of them into the box on top of the lollipops. Then he galloped upstairs to fetch Tufty toothbrush. He supposed Tufty might look nice on Mum's stall. Well, not nice exactly. Nobody could call Tufty nice. But at least he was eye-catching. She'd certainly need something to liven her stall up. Nobody was going to stop and read those boring leaflets otherwise. "Your room should be nice and tidy after that big clear out," said Dad when he came back. "Oh, it is," Sam assured him. "I've got rid of hundreds of things I didn't want." "Good lad, you've been very helpful," Dad said, smiling. "Here's your pocket money, and last week's too. Buy something nice at the fair." As Sam took the money, he felt Tufty's accusing stare burn into him. "Bury Tufty in the garden?" Laura said. "Good idea," Sam muttered. "Slugs eat him up instead of my poor piggies." "If only," said Sam. He carried the last box out. Hanif's dad winked at him as he loaded it into his van. Sam climbed into the front seat next to Hanif and they set off. When the van finally trundled away, he felt like bursting into song. He'd got past Dad without suspecting a thing. It was the end of the lollipops at last. School was transformed. It was draped in red and yellow bunting and erupting with children and noise. Kids charged excitedly around the playground shouting. At one end of the games field, several dads were building an assault course out of crates, while at the other, a bouncy castle slowly heaved itself into the air. From inside the school came awful honks and wails as the school band tuned up. Sam, Hanif and his dad each carried a box of lollipops into school. They handed 1 box over for the brand tub and gave 2 to the sideshows. Sam's heart was singing as he returned to the van. Hanif took the 4th box. Sam hefted up the last one with the leaflets inside and Tufty toothbrush balanced on the top. He was so happy that he began to run across the playground. As he ran, Tufty toothbrush slid off the top of the box and dived to the ground. Sam tripped over Tufty and went sprawling across the tarmac. The cardboard box flew through the air. It came down with a mighty crunch. "Ow," said Sam, sitting up painfully. "Ouch." He rolled up the legs of his jeans to inspect his knees. They were both badly grazed. But when he looked up, He realised that wasn't the worst of it. There had been a lollipop explosion. The box had broken open and 200 lollipops had burst out. They lay scattered around him, along with the Tufty toothbrush leaflets. In the middle of the lollipop disaster was Tufty himself, upside down, eyeing Sam with an indignant glare. Children stopped running around to point and giggle. "Oh, Sam, have you got loads of lollipops again?" asked one. "There are thousands of them," yelled another. "Sam, Sam, the lollipop man," chanted a third. Before Sam could answer, he heard a horrified voice behind him. "Sam, what on earth are you doing with all those lollipops?" It was his mum. "I was just carrying this box inside for Hanif's dad," said Sam. "For Hanif's dad? I don't think so. That's your box, Sam. It's got Tufty pictures stuck all over it. Dad told me it was full of your old cars, but it's full of lollipops." "It's not my fault," Sam began. "You've made me look like a fool," said Mum in a low, angry voice as she swept up a handful of sticky leaflets. "I've come here to tell everyone not to eat sweets, and I find you throwing lollipops all over the playground." "Mum, you don't understand." "I understand perfectly. I heard what that child was singing. Sam, Sam, the lollipop man." "It's just a silly nickname," said Sam helplessly. "Is it indeed?" snapped Mum. "And is that why they were saying you've got loads of lollipops again? You've got some explaining to do. I am really cross, Sam. I'll talk to you later, and I want the truth." Mum turned her back on him and strode into school. Sam was left sitting dejectedly with Tufty toothbrush in the middle of a carpet of lollipops. Come back tomorrow for chapter 8.